안녕하세요. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to yet another episode of Bongcast. If you're new here to the channel, Bongcast is my podcast series that I have here on the channel. And it recently, came back mainly for Queendom 2, which is what we are going to be talking about today. More specifically, episode 2. We're going to do a little bit of a review recap. We're going to give our opinions and discuss on certain elements. And to join me with those discussions, I have Casey, and a new member to the team, I guess, Yumo.
Let's go.
So if you guys want to just introduce yourself as always in your YouTube channels and whatnot, go ahead. We'll start with Casey, I guess.
Yes, Casey with redxsunyt. I'm sure Joe will put a link to it in the bio, obviously.
I will.
Yes.
Yumo?
Yes, hello, it's me, Yumo. It's just Yumo, nothing to it again. Yeah, also Kpop reactor since like 2 years now. And first time on the podcast. Let's go.
Let's go. First time collab as well. So
yeah, first time collab actually, yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's gonna be fun, don't worry about it. So yeah. General thoughts on Queendom on episode 2, I mean? Do we have any general thoughts? Before we dive into the performances one by one.
I think mind blown is a good word. There's some stuff to talk about that left me quivering behind a certain light stick. So I guess we're gonna get to it. So to touch upon it, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that is definitely something I do want to talk about.
Well.
Yeah, there we go. Hey,
here, baby.
People watching now are gonna think we're all like just orbits.
But I think I gave a good bit of kind of my general thoughts for the show on the first one, just in the hopes for the show and the interactions and everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much the majority of my thoughts are kind of just performances,
which we are going to be, which is going to be the main part of this podcast. Seeing as the episode was all about the performances. So yeah. Yumo, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I'm just glad the show is finally here. That's basically it. Like, I've been anticipating this for basically 2 years now, ever since I started watching Kingdom and Road to Kingdom. I was like, please, when are we getting Queendom 2? And now that it's here, I'm just happy. It's just everything.
It's
yeah, true. Same. As soon as Queendom 1 ended, I was like, where's Queendom 2? I need it now.
Fun fact, I still need to watch the entirety of Queendom. I just know the performances of the first season.
That's so strange. Everybody I'm talking to are like, yeah, I've seen the performances, but I haven't watched it. I'm like, oh, you're missing so much. Nah, but it's fine. The performances are pretty epic.
Season 1 had some iconic ones for sure.
Oh, bro, they honestly, like, just Queendom itself had, like, the first season had some of my favorite performances of all time. Like, you can't top that. Like, the only place you could maybe top it is like at year-end shows or yeah.
But yeah, maybe.
But all right. So, well, with that said, then let's jump into the performances. So firstly, I went blank. Who performed first in that episode?
That was Kepler.
It was Kepler. Right? It was Kepler. Yes, indeed, it was.
Yes.
Kepler. Yeah, because we saw hyolyn come out, and that was a cute little interaction as well.
Yeah.
With the hyolyn and Kepler interaction there, that was so cool. But what did we think of Kepler's performance?
Well, I think the thing that stood out most for me was the mix of the song. I mean, it was heavily altered due to the fact, like, Wadada is their only song. So it's like, are we gonna perform Wadada for the 500th time? Like, they did it for their opening thing. They performed it so much on music shows. So I was actually really happy that they altered it this way. And oh boy, I loved it. Like,
the song's a slapper.
I love the song and the
new
choreo.
Of this is, it's just so good. Yeah,
the remix is really good. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mixing and the remix and the new choreography is definitely what stood out to me. Um, it was again, kind of what you expect from Kepler. Um, they danced and they danced really, really well. Um, it didn't feel like there was much beyond that for me, to be honest. Set seemed very minimal. Again, touching back on storytelling, and I'm not saying anything, I'm not trying to talk bad on Kepler, because I think that when Kepler puts a couple more things together, they're going to be a nightmare on the show. But still, just I mean, they had the just tiny little flags, minimal sets, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I really liked the beginning. The beginning was really cool. Was it Yujin and Shouting standing on top and like kind of pushing down the sun to the other members on the bottom floor?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that
That
was
was pretty
really
cool.
cool, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it kind of like ended with that stuff. There was, I mean, Hikaru had her own little cool scene in the tunnel that was
She
really
really
nice.
did, yeah.
She killed it.
See, because that's the thing for me. Like, I really love that remix, right? Like, and I'll keep saying it, but like, I need that remix on Spotify right now. Okay, I need to
Yes, it
listen
is.
to it
It
nonstop.
Is it already?
Is it really for real?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes, there's
it's
a
not in
whole
my
thing.
country then. It's not
Oh,
there.
that could be. I mean, I just added it to my main playlist, so it should be there.
Anyway, I'll look for it again, but I didn't find it. I couldn't even find the episode 1 performances. Anyways, but yeah, no, that remix was insane, and that was part of the choreo where I really, really enjoyed and was just absolutely amazing. But for me, there was parts where I don't know, it was lacking. Like, there was bits where, like, with the camera angles when it would switch, they weren't doing anything. They were just standing there, or there was not much action going on. And I feel like they could have improved a little bit there, But once they start dancing, bro, they capture your eyes. Like, it's Kepler, of course they're gonna capture your eyes. But it was just like little spurts of performances here and there, with like little pauses in between, which I don't know how I felt about that,
I actually felt like the camera work did them no justice. I actually felt like the camera work made the performance a little bit worse, to be honest.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, because it's there to kind of enhance the feeling, to feel more immersed in it, but it felt like it kind of took away from their performance. I felt like it was kind of a disservice to Kepler, to be honest, sadly.
Yeah.
When I watched like the fixed cam and stuff, I was like, yo, I like this a lot more. Like, I was more impressed with Kepler themselves. So that was kind of a bummer too, but
I was just a mixture of things that just kind of, in a way, made it a little bit more underwhelming than I thought it was going to be. But then again, like you said, like, it's Kepler, we know what was going to come, and they were going to like show this intense performance, which they did in the end. Like, they did do it, but yeah, the combination of like the camera and whatnot, like, obviously they had their little like scenes as well, individual scenes, like with the Hikaru and
Kim does moments
so
were
obviously
my
like, yeah, exactly. And obviously with that, like, you're gonna want like a good transition, right? And I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is the transition between those scenes was not that so great, which made it look like it was just puzzle pieces, kind of, like, and not one performance.
I mean, the performance itself, they did no mistakes and pulled it off really well.
Pulled it off. Oh yeah. I've got no issues with them performing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's just
I kind of want to pointed that out as well, because like, you still gotta think they're still a rookie group, right?
Yeah.
And so many groups in the entirety of like Road to Kingdom, whatever, they made like small little mistakes and here and there and beat themselves out. You know what I'm talking about. But like, they aced it. Like, they ate it up like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
100%. Kepler's gonna perform. There's no questioning that. Yeah. I will also say too, having heard all of the raw vocals, I would actually say that Kepler was at the highest, excluding hyolyn, obviously, and Brave Girls, aside from one thing,
which we might touch upon.
Yeah, Kepler's performance wasn't super vocally demanding, but for what it was, they sounded great. The raw vocals were really good. There wasn't a huge difference for me. Whereas like wjsn and had some mistakes, a little off key here and there, but Kepler's vocals were actually pretty close to what we got on the actual episode. So they performance wise, like we said, they killed it.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. Right, I think we went. This might be a quick a quick little podcast here. We're going through.
Before we move on to the next group, what do we want to see them perform? From
I was gonna
Hyolyn,
get. I was
from
gonna get
us.
that. I was gonna get to there.
Great Girls.
At the end of
Oh, okay.
of the stream, like we're going through the performances, and then we're gonna, because I did want to talk about what we think each group are gonna do for the covers.
That's a fun topic, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very fun topic. We're gonna keep the fun stuff for last.
So keep watching until the end. You know how
Yes,
this works.
you
Watch
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
And to Kyra's point in chat too, I kind of agree. I feel like a good bit of the performances I have enjoyed more with the fixed cam. Unfortunately.
Oh, also, I don't know how chat. I didn't fix the chat. I don't know, like when somebody chats, like where it pops up on the screen.
I
'Cause it
think
should
it's
be,
like
but I don't know where it
below
is.
me, somewhere below me, I think.
It could be.
It's
Yeah,
like-
hold on.
Just going over Yumo.
Oh yeah, it is. It is actually.
Just cover the text.
Let me. There we go. I'll just put it on the side there. There we go.
Oh no.
That's better. Okay. I apologize for that.
There we go. Okay.
All good.
I'm sorry, Yumo.
Yo, Fata.
Hey,
Don't worry
Fata,
about
thank
it.
you for that subscription. All right. So up next was Brave Girls, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was Brave
Yeah.
Girls. So what did you guys think of Brave Girls? I know me and Casey have something to say about it.
Almost
Yeah.
my favorite performance.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Almost.
really liked it as well. Like the intro was, I feel like it was really focused upon in the show as well, with like how they went on about like we need the intro to be grand and it needs to capture you instantly. And I think they did a good job with that. Like they weren't just talking about it; they actually did it. Because I love the intro. The drums, like you can always get me with
Oh.
drums. Big drums, put powder on it. It's
Same
like
here.
you have my heart. So
Same here.
I agree.
that just won me over instantly from the beginning of the performance. And then I don't know, it had everything. It had cool poses. It had these like fluorescent sticks that they were performing. It was so creative and so well made.
It was a very like it not only did it catch like the viewers' attention, but it actually felt like you were part of that performance. You know, it's that like they
It was immersive,
really
yeah.
managed to hype the crowd, and well, not that the crowd could scream or anything, but like it
People
really
at home
had
were
that
screaming.
feel. Yeah. Like,
I mean, they were even talking about like trying to get the crowd to scream. Like they had that little bit where they were like,
yeah,
we need
like,
to
hey,
bring their inner cheering. Like we want them to screw up and scream.
yeah. And I think they managed it, to be honest, because I was
Yeah.
into it. I was like, let's go. Dude, and
Yeah.
you're performing like Roland and Chimat Param. Like
I mean,
it's such...
It was
Go ahead,
just
go
so good.
ahead.
For me, I just previously just checked out Roland. I knew that the song was big, so I was like, okay, in kind of like a preparation video that I did, I knew when it comes to Brave Girls, I gotta check out Roland, which is fantastic track, and I have it added to my playlist, listened to it a lot. But also, what were they, like Nanta and Chimaparam or something like that?
Chimat Param.
Yeah, they were fantastic. I loved them
Mhm.
instantly. Like when I heard them on the performance, like I was like, okay, I gotta have some catching up to do on these girls. And how
It's
these
really
songs
good.
work together was fantastic. And the reveal, obviously, towards the end with like Roland, that was executed perfectly.
Yeah. No, exactly. The transition. I mean, to be fair, I mean, Chimat Param was like a sequel to Roland, like, because it was their first comeback after the big blow up that is Roland. So obviously they wanted to keep that. But honestly, like both songs are just that great high energy, perfect for like a stage like that. And although I did say in my previous reactions to the episodes, or the previous podcast, I did say that I want them to go away from Roland, but for this particular performance, I think this was it. for them. Like it was it.
I mean, it was called signature song after all. So.
It is, yeah. It is. Joe,
I think my favorite part about the performance too was how much fun they were having. Their energy in the performance. Like, I had the funnest time during their performance by far. It was just
100%.
The smiles on their faces, and there were some like little goofy. I don't know if you would call them mistakes, but you know the moment when the backup dancer's trying to give the mic back, and a couple bumping into each other moments. Like, it wasn't perfect.
They were laughing it off. You could tell they were just laughing it off, and
it was so fun. Yeah, they were laughing, and you could tell, like, just them being there. They just loved it, and they just had fun with it, and you could see it, and it was.
And you rate that.
I don't know. I just love that. I had them lower on my rankings for the performances, but seriously, that was so close to being my favorite. So close.
I would agree. But there's this one bit
that I can't get out of my head.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to touch on that or not. It's up to you.
I don't know, because this is gonna be a little bit like salty or whatever, but as somebody who like really like we watched the live performance, we watched it live, obviously not in the crowd but in the screens through Zoom. The high note that Minyoung did just before it switched to Roland live was she kind of her vocals kind of broke a little when she did the high note. Like she what's the word? Voice cracked. Voice cracked. I mean, it was pretty noticeable as well. Like, it's not something you could miss. It was a rough one. But in the final edited version, the final episode, it was spotless. Like, there was no error or anything. So I feel like, in a way, like, how do you feel? I know you've got some things to say, Casey, and I do have some too, but I'm curious to know what you thought. Would it also would it have affected them, do you think, as well, if they didn't edit or whatnot?
Well, clearly it didn't affect them for the other groups' rankings, which I found kind of interesting.
Yeah, because they would have heard, like, everybody else would have heard that, like.
Because the other groups would have heard it. First of all, Minyoung's voice is incredible. I would say that she's probably just right there with Hyolyn, to be honest. I think that they're gonna perform that song 20 times, and that's not gonna happen. Maybe once, right? It was just kind of a weird thing. It's not gonna happen every time. It's a rare thing, so it's unfortunate, but it did happen. And I personally can't get it out of my head, and that's what lowers the performance for me is that mistake, unfortunately, because I loved everything else. So I don't know, it's still just kind of stuck in my head.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Like, honestly, I don't think it would have affected much, because I mean, things happen, but then again, Mnet, right? And I'm kind of surprised that they didn't. Like, the evil edits, like this season, the evil edits are pretty toned down. Like, there's not that many evil edits from Mnet, which is kind of surprising. And the fact that they actually fixed her vocals, kind of says. And I feel like Hyolyn does have a point, and I kind of thought the same way as well. Like, Mnet, the point of like this show is not just to have the competition, but Mnet always has like a storyline that they want to follow for each group, right?
Yeah,
like really a redemption arc or whatever it is. And maybe the story that they want to show for Brave Girls is just, it's not that side of things. Because we obviously, like you said, we know Minyoung is a crazy vocalist. Like, she's insane. If you haven't watched her covers or any of her live vocal performances, go and do that right now, because holy moly, she's amazing. But yeah, no, I do feel like at that point in that area, like, for Brave Girls, it wouldn't have changed anything, even if they did add the bad vocals, or they left it as it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't stop helping myself but think, then we know about that. What else can Mnet do, good or bad?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I was like more even surprised, like you touched upon that, like from Mnet, I would have expected them to like highlight that mess up and make a whole story out of it.
Repeat it 5 different times.
Like with the heel of hyolyn in her performance, like that would have been, I think, the key thing that Mnet would have focused on, and they didn't. So like, that's like, it's so. What is the right way to do, right? Is it like focusing on it would be kind of considered bad editing because they're just focusing on the mistake as they usually do? But like if they try to like get it out of the way and just brush it under the table, it's like, is that better?
Right. No, it's hard. It's hard to know what to do.
Definitely.
And I'm not saying that it like should affect or not. It's just for me personally, it's just stuck in my head. I kind of wish it wasn't, but
yeah.
And like I said, the slight little mistakes and stuff with like bumping into each other and like the camera stuff like is in my head too. Like although how much fun they had and their energy and everything, I did love, and the whole concept and everything I love so much. But the high note and the few little things here and there did drag the performance down a bit for me. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's interesting because no one, I mean, we don't know like what's going on at the high note and Mnet's intentions, but no one voted for them as worse than. No one picked him as a rival. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on, but is like what?
Yeah.
What's going? Is Mnet like protecting them? What's like? There's something.
It could be
kind of interesting going on. Right.
I have a note in my little word thing that I did, and it's like called Brave Girls being ignored for 2 episodes straight. Like there's nothing. Like they don't get the vote in the rival picking, as you said. Like why?
I said it like in my reaction. I had this feeling that Brave Girls are just third wheeling at this point. Like they're there, but nobody talks about or to them. It's just they're just there. They're like,
yeah. And whenever it's about them, it's just like. Rolling.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Or is it just like, is it because of their career and the trials that they've been through that people just don't want to put more on them? Like the other groups, for example, don't want to just add to that. Like, I just don't know. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah.
Like, because of their story and their trials as a group, like maybe the groups just want to leave them alone and not,
make things work or yeah.
But obviously there's whatever it might be, there's definitely something.
But there's definitely something going on. I do think because maybe like Mnet are trying to focus more like it's going to be that redemption arc, right? There's always going to be a redemption arc somewhere in Mnet, right? And maybe it's going to be Brave Girls. Like nobody's talking about Brave Girls. Brave Girls are just there. But then there's going to be this one performance they're going to come out and then it's going to be whoa. Hey, look. And then
which that could very well be.
Yeah.
We'll touch on later, but the song that they're going to pick from Kepler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. And yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about.
We'll get to that, but.
But yeah, Brave Girls is an interesting thing. But while we're at it, though, I guess we kind of touched upon it. But do you think it would be like a good or bad thing, like if they continue to just like third wheeling and just be there? Because they won't get any hate. They won't get.
It creates a dark horse narrative, right? They could kind of just fly by, and then, like you said, that one performance hits, and then it's huge for them.
They blow up.
No but negative or positive edits. But if it doesn't, I don't know. It's hard to say.
At the end of the day, some people will be, me including, will be out there not like knowing too much about them and like learning to love them. That's like what because they are really funny. Like I think. One of my highlights is whenever they are showing these like how we did all the performances kind of stuff, and like I love the one where they were talking like to the songwriter and how they want to have all that, and when they arrived in the studio being like, oh my god, we're so old, we're so tired. Like they are just so funny, and so I mean people are gonna fall in love with them eventually.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Brave Girls on the show, 100%.
Yeah, no, same here. I mean, just being a fearless here, you know, like obviously I'm gonna enjoy myself watching them, but yeah, just for like outsiders who don't know them much, because let's be fair, out of all the artists there, Brave Girls would be the least known, at least internationally now. Because I mean, obviously, again with the rolling situation, they popped off in Korea.
And I mean, might even be the best example for that, because they're literally the only group that I didn't even hear a single song before. Like, Cosmic Girls, hyolyn, I heard one or two songs, but like I haven't heard any Brave Girls songs, so I might be the best example for exactly that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And now I'm here and like, okay, I gotta check out these songs.
Yeah. And that's, again, we'll probably touch back on this a million times, but that's one of the points of the show, right?
Yeah.
Get these groups some exposure and some new fans for sure.
Exactly. I mean, like we keep saying, at the end of the day, everybody's gonna come out a winner, because they would have gained something, either experience, new fans, whatever it may be. They will gain something from it.
Exactly.
Let's just quickly look through the chat, see if they have anything to say before we move on to the next performance, which is wjsn, I believe. So just was it? Yeah.
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 No one wins based off the first performance. That's true, Huey.
Exactly.
But it definitely can set yourself up, like you said.
It can definitely be a motivation.
It's the
if you
first
do well on
step.
the first one, then you like. But you also can, like, as they tend to paint it like that. If you do bad on the first one, you can use that as motivation as well. Like the whole grit your teeth thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wjsn, what did we think?
Loved it.
What did we think?
Yeah,
it was
absolutely loved
everybody loves
Majestic.
it. I am in love with that performance. I think that is my favorite performance.
If I didn't hear the raw vocals, it would be my favorite performance. But hyolyn's raw vocals is forever in my head, and like I cannot not think of that. Whereas wjsn did have some slight moments of imperfections in vocals. If not for that, wjsn's performance would be my number one.
Yeah, it's definitely also, I think, it's hard to tell, because for me, always there's like, I mean, maybe we're going to talk about later about our personal rankings of all the performances, but like, to put it away, I have a couple of biases, and I kind of tend to want to look at all these things like objectively.
Yeah.
And objectively, they're easily top 3 for me. Like that whole performance was so beautifully managed, thought through, and executed. I mean, the obvious thing with the what's it called again?
The hourglass.
The hourglass.
The hourglass. That was just unfortunate, but out of there, like, they had nothing to do with that, and everything else.
Yeah.
Their like facial expressions, the dance, everything.
They didn't let that stop them, and that's what.
No, like not at all.
Like
for a second, I was like, was that intended even?
Yeah, no.
Like the time disappears.
Yeah, exactly. It could be part of lore, you know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I mean I do know about like wjsn and like their storyline and whatnot, and obviously it didn't do any part. But at the same time, I was thinking there's a lot of people like it kind of looks like it was intended, you know, like. It could very
like a magic trick.
Like,
like spin it and then it's gone. Like
smashes smashes into oblivion, and it's like. But no, exactly. Like, even with that, like, I feel like it's the same thing with hyolyn and like her heel. You know, it just shows how professional they are, like on stage, and how dedicated they are, and won't let anything like that stop them, even though they're literally slipping everywhere because of the sand. Like. You couldn't tell. Their facial expressions didn't change. They were still into it, and the whole performance was so elegant, and yeah, like everything about it was just perfect for me.
It was amazing. There were a couple slight moments when they would kind of look down, but how could you not if there's literally broken glass and sand at your feet? So you cannot blame them for that at all.
No.
But yeah, they stayed super composed, professional.
Mm-hmm.
I was super impressed with that, just like Hyolyn, yeah.
And that's like an extra point for me as well. Like it's not about the performances, but it's about like the artists themselves and how they deal. You know, it really shows some character to them. You know, and I love that. And that another thing about the character is, during the show, how like they felt so, like disappointed because of that one little mistake. And how they thought it was like the end and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
To me, that just showed me how desperate they were, and it kind of hurt me a bit, cause like I really love them, and I mean we don't know what happens behind the scenes. Like who knows? Maybe the company decided at one point it might not be. You know, I don't know this or that. They probably had some sort of talk or something to make them feel that way, cause as a viewer, it wasn't that big of a deal, you know. But as a performer, maybe, you know, with everything that's been going on behind the scenes, it could have been something else. And
it could be that, or it could just be the expectations they have on themselves.
yeah,
They know
exactly.
how good they are, and they have, you know, high
'Cause
expectations of themselves.
their stages are insane.
Yeah. And talk about, you know, another trial that they went through. Unso was learning the choreo from like in a Zoom call from home.
Yeah.
I know.
You would never know.
I know.
It was amazing. So
However they put that off.
it's interesting because like when you talk about things like Hyolyn's heel or the hourglass, it's like it's something out of their control that comes into play, and they handle it well, which benefits them in a way. But it's interesting because some of the other groups didn't have something like that to
help them.
to help them. So it's kind of an interesting like how do you analyze that, and how do you use that in your opinion on the group's performance? But I'm going to keep talking about this. The way if they continue with the use of stage and the storytelling,
Yes,
they're going to keep killing it for me with their stages.
I definitely see wjsn growing a lot. Like I can already see it. The fact that they came in second as well, like that just blew my mind. Because in a way, I was just not expecting that. Just because I mean, wjsn are not that popular, and you know they're not one of the most popular groups that are on the show right now. So seeing them come in second was like, wow.
Big.
It's like cool. They're gonna do stuff. They're gonna take that opportunity and just make it even better. And I can definitely see them like reaching at least, you know, once like first place.
Yeah.
And
I even had them like their like pre-thing performance that they did. Like what was it called? Like pre-open
the
show,
intro?
something like that.
Yeah,
intro show.
Yeah.
Like they were my favorite performance in that. Like from
Same.
a completely unbiased state. It's like I think for me they were the first ones to understand how the show works. Like you need a storyline, you need a show, you make it grand, and you need to make it captivating. And they did that so well with that first one, and they have that like red line through it. Like the first intro thing and the first performance, they kind of blend well together, and it seems like there's continuation in it. So I really like that approach to that. I think like who did that the best ever in these shows was like the boys. The boys on Road to Kingdom did that so well. So
that's exactly what I was going to give as an example.
Kind of like going that similar direction is really cool to see. And for me, as someone, again, like Cosmic Girls as a group, I'm not too familiar with. I have heard a couple of their songs, but I've been learning their names through the show already so fast because they're just as interesting. I've picked a couple of girls already where I'm like, damn, they're really cool. I just know that like Yoram is friends with Oogie, so that's bonus points for me.
There you go.
But also like Soda and Exi, like they are just interesting to watch. They're like really, really fun to watch.
Yeah. No, that's really cool to hear actually. Yeah.
Exi was like really fun to watch, like her leadership and whatnot in the show, especially in the last episode. It was kind of incredible to see because I feel like we don't get the opportunity to see, you know, leaders in action and whatnot, and how hard it is for them as well. Like,
no, so. that's a really good point.
And yeah, I really liked the Exi at the beginning. Like, I always loved her, but yeah, I just love her more now.
But then this entire group is just fantastic. One thing I just came into my mind, like the fact how like Unso grabbed Shinbi on that reveal thing, I lost my mind. It was they just like we gotta have that talk, girl.
Yeah, and even talking about
coming up with that.
The leadership thing, like even Exy in that moment was like, "Yo, come back! Like, come on,
yeah. Like we need to do.
Come back, and so
we need to finish this stuff. No. I overall really enjoyed wjsn stage.
Yes,
probably, and I think we all agree it's one of our faves.
They know exactly what their assignment is. Exactly
they know.
Like you said. They know what their assignment is, and so far they're executing it. Even with the trials and things that are getting in the way of that, they're executing it.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
Dance break too.
Oh my god!
I loved that dance break so much.
Oh, that's like my most repeated part.
Yes.
it's just no, you can't end it there. I need more. Keep going back. Yeah. All right, so wjsn. So then that means we just have Loona left.
Basically, yeah. Oh boy.
To talk about how are we feeling? Yeah. Let's just quickly.
Everyone's ready. Everyone's equipped.
I mean, we gotta support the girls that got an automatic dunf. All right, we gotta support them. That's a bit sad, though. I do have to agree. But what do we think about them? Like the show letting them, or Taeyeon, letting them perform.
Queen Taeyeon coming.
Queen Taeyeon, exactly. There's a reason why she's called King Taeyeon. She's just the best.
This performance, I think I just sat here the entire time being like, this isn't happening. Like, honestly,
as a big Orbis as well.
Like, completely from a biased standpoint, that was my favorite. From a biased standpoint, that was my favorite. From an unbiased standpoint, I think it's hyolyn. But from a biased standpoint, like, there were so many parts that had me like, whoa. I mean, the beginning, the use of LED with that big freaking building in the back. I don't know how you would call it, but I'm like a sucker for these like traditional Korean or Asian, whatever that is. So like examples for that, the performance of Wonus of Lit was that way, or again Wonus with Loona. Like all these kind of concepts I'm a sucker for those. So that was just a dream come true. Loona with this kind of concept with PTT was amazing.
Oh my Girl's Destiny, that's another amazing one.
Well, like maybe one I got to check out.
Oh yes. Yeah, the traditional style was amazing.
There's something there's something about the combination of both a pop song and traditional music that you feel like it wouldn't work out, but it somehow does. Good. And it just sounds so good. And the outfits they were wearing as well, like
the instrumental, the remix was incredible too. Talking about Kepler's,
the fact that they put a dubstep at the end as well.
A dubstep, yeah.
It's just Loona.
It was mind blowing. Yeah,
I loved everything about that, and especially when you talk about too, their stage was different. They didn't have stairs. They didn't have a lift. They had a smaller stage. So a lot less to work with, and I felt like they made use of what they had really well.
Yes, exactly. Imagine they would have gotten the chance to make that concept on that big one with all the like elevation changes and the stairs and the tunnel. It would have been like, but the styling was on point. Like I gotta talk about the one thing that stuck in my mind is freaking Hyeju.
Her part, oh my goodness.
Her part, bro. Listen. I was not expecting that part. And the way she came out.
We kind of know Olivia to be like kind of the aggressive dancer, right? She's a powerful dancer, but her part was so smooth and elegant and graceful. I loved it so much. And then going into Eve's moment.
With the freaking like
listen,
the way that she let down her hair.
Yes, everything about that was amazing. I will say, and trying to look at it, like I said, as objective as possible, because it like Yumo said, I mean, if we're going off if we're looking at it subjectively, then Luna's was my favorite. I mean, no questioning it. But the biggest thing that I noticed was their energy. Their energy was not Luna. It was very low. I've seen plenty of just normal paint the town stages where the energy was a lot higher, and that was, that dragged the performance down a little bit for me. But I mean, they either had COVID,
They
the
had
entire
COVID.
group had COVID at the moment, or were recovering from COVID. So obviously that's a huge factor.
Yeah.
So it it depends on how you look at it, but I did notice a pretty big difference in their energy. But I mean,
I agree.
You have COVID. What can you do?
Exactly. I mean, COVID it sucks, and for the whole group to get it, it can not only be like physically, draining, but like mentally as well. Like imagine like the full group, what they had to think, not being able to perform on Queendom and whatnot, like probably was, hard on them.
Tough.
Yeah. And what kind of narrative does that set up for Luna moving forward, right? From the audience.
Yeah.
Are we feeling bad for Luna? Like, are we feeling bad for Luna? And then we saw that performance, and there's a lot of hype around him. Like that's kind of what I'm curious about too. Is the result of this situation for Luna, what it means moving forward, right? I just don't know.
Definitely. I think it could go either way. Honestly, I think it could be the perfect like catapult to just put them on top. Like the performance showed what they can do, and they have that little storyline of we were unlucky. There's nothing we can do about it. We just gotta pull it together now and just rip everything apart. So, I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I agree. They put in like the little snippets at the end of the Ep.2. I don't remember who was talking about Luna, but they were just saying like, do you remember what I'm talking? I'm trying to remember exactly what they said. Another group was essentially talking about Luna and saying that they're going to be a problem. But I can't remember who said it or the exact context. I cannot remember if chat remembers.
Yeah, I tend to not watch these, so.
I just remember like almost everybody wanting to do Luna.
Yeah.
Like cover Luna. And saying like a bunch of different things.
It was the only preview they showed as well, which was interesting.
Luna.
Yeah.
Performing. Yeah, preview. True. Yeah. So. Which I'm pretty confident at what song they picked.
Yeah, me too.
I'm pretty confident. Why should not be that same concept, but something completely different?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with the cover stages is that you can take a song that has a certain concept, turn it around, and make it the complete opposite and make it your own. So who knows?
Yeah, Ray said someone said they felt threatened, and that if Luna would have aced the first round.
Oh yeah. I remember that bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what group or individual said that, but it was interesting.
Yeah. I remember that.
And also the point of Luna being like super competitive. That's like so freaking true. I mean, with the reveal where they got to know that they're gonna be on Queendom, was it like Heejin, I think, who was like, I want to win this. Like she was instantly focused. She was like instantly basically. She was
Luna's competitive.
This girl just finished the concert and was like ready to go into the practice room and practice all night. Like
yeah.
The girls are competitive, and we're gonna see that for sure.
Oh, the next rounds are gonna be something.
Yeah. We want to go backwards just a little bit since we have Yumo here and get his opinion on both hyolyn and viviz.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yumo.
All right.
Let's start with gfriend then.
Starting off with viviz. With gfriend / viviz.
gfriend / viviz. Sorry, I keep saying it. It's so annoying. See, this just shows how much of a buddy I am. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally cried on the performance. So like, I sat here shedding way more tears than I thought because like, who doesn't know my channel? My channel basically started out with Luna, Red Velvet, and gfriend. Like these were the three groups that I was like putting a focus on, and I was going through all of gfriends. I checked out so much gfriend. I got to love this group, and then last year stuff happened. So
unexpectedly.
for them, and so for them, when they decided to basically, I mean, Time for the Moonlight and Rough were two of my most nostalgic title tracks of gfriend that they could have ever chosen. So putting these two together had me just like sitting there being like, the feels were taking over so much, and I was just sitting here. That's why also from like a bias standpoint, I'm like, they are also easily in the top 3, probably together with Loona, because I have my bias on certain groups, obviously. But I mean, objectively, the performance was all right. Like there weren't too many like super key parts where you're like, I remember that as to what like hyolyn had a lot of these, and Loona had a lot of these. Cosmic Girls had a lot of these, like the killer parts, like going back to Girls Planet, who's gonna do the killer part?
Yep.
That's like obviously a big thing in these kind of shows. So they were lacking in that respect a little bit, but that didn't change the thing that I was sitting here crying at my girls, and then obviously Una crying at the end with her being my bias. That was just that was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
That was
My bias too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I agree.
And then you mentioned that hyolyn was your favorite.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If I'm looking at non-biased, that everything was, you can see that she thought everything from start to finish. She had a plan. She know how to go about all of this, and it showed in the eventual performance.
She's a performer.
Man, like that's an understatement almost. Like that's the way the whole, when the LED screen like lit up and the waterfall came up, I was like, is this a musical?
Welcome to Paradise.
Like,
Welcome to Paradise was, and I was like, okay, she is not here to play. She is going to take that stage and rip it apart.
Yeah, make it hers.
I mean, she ripped us apart. She sent us to Paradise.
Stage, us.
I was like, yo, I'm literally in Paradise.
The other groups.
She brought me there.
Even.
Yeah. So yeah, like from that standpoint, definitely. It also like deserving first place. Like acing every single category.
Sure. And it's surprising, definitely. Because I knew she was gonna be able to do that. Like, I mean, through the years, we had like Queendom 1, we got Road to Kingdom, and out of all of them, only like Queendom had a soloist, right? Park Bom. As much as I love Park Bom, like I felt like it was gonna be really, really hard for her to be able to do and stand out. But when it was announced that hyolyn was going to be the soloist for it, I was like, I mean, I already saw like this coming. Like she was gonna be first place. Like everybody knows her charisma on stage. Like
the original ace.
The original ace, exactly. Like she can do literally everything. So there was no doubt that she'd be placed high, and she just showed us. She showed us why we thought that, you know. And I was like, yeah.
It seems to be a pretty agreed upon first place too. Yeah, most people are feeling the same in that regard, I think. Yeah, the people that are looking at it objectively.
I mean, if you look at how the numbers were looking on these intro stages, I think she had like the least views on hers. But then from the like votings that she did, she like still won it. So people seemed really to agree on that, as you said. Yeah, it's crazy.
You know how it is with streaming and fandoms and stuff.
Like,
it's so skewed.
Bro, like Loona, like they're crazy when it comes to like streaming and stuff. Kepler as well. So you know they're gonna have probably the most views in terms of like
Orbit can be pretty bad too at streaming sometimes.
True.
But
she's too good. I mean, sometimes you wonder, like, she might be too good for this show.
I'm so looking forward to her doing a Loona song. I have no idea what's gonna be.
Speaking of,
zero.
Shall we talk? Let's get into it. I mean, why not? We've completed all the performances, so might as well get on on the what we think they're gonna do. Yeah, theorizing. Yeah.
Now we have a little bit of a clearer picture. Obviously, we can narrow that theorizing down a bit because we know who, what group's gonna do what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
you expect like the different like groups picking?
I expected Loona to be popular because they do have such a diverse set of songs and styles. Yeah, I did expect that for sure.
Do they even have like the biggest discography almost? I'm not 100% sure how, like, if you put hyolyn and Sistar as a discography together.
Yeah,
because Loona has a lot of albums and a lot
if
of.
you bring in past groups, probably not. But
wjsn have a ton load under the belt. Right. Yeah. So I would think it would be maybe Loona, and wjsn. I mean, Sistar have quite a few as well. So, but I think it would be like wjsn and Loona.
They do have 12 solo titles as well, and a few things. But I think it really just boils down to the diversity of their songs.
Yes.
Indeed.
So, yeah, but I honestly didn't expect hyolyn to choose like Loona because you gotta perform a song from a 12-member group. So either gonna that's the thing that I was going to talk about. Like you could also do a solo. And that's something that I would love her to do that. I think in my Discord I was talking to someone and they said, what if she does Kiss Later in like Girl Crush theme?
We were saying this too.
No.
We were saying that too. Like what if she does Kiss Later?
Nuts.
But at the same time I'm like, would she really do it as solo? Or would she actually go
popular enough?
Exactly. Yeah. Like is it she's gonna make it popular no matter what. It's hyolyn, yeah. but like I feel like it would be not so much like you want to cover Loona, not a specific member of Loona. Yeah. So that's why I feel like she's gonna go more for a Loona song rather than a solo.
Yeah, and
it's interesting.
From all that I've seen so far from like these teasers at the end of the episode, it's basically just hyolyn's outfit. That's all I know, because then I paused and was like, okay, I don't want to see this. I don't want any spoilers for the red one. So what are we thinking like with this outfit? What could that match if we are saying like she's not gonna do a whole nother concept?
She looked dark.
Yeah.
It looked like very dark.
It was really dark. I got surprised as well. I was like, yo. Like, this is something I feel like we don't see Loona do. Like, it was a different type of dark.
It was a different type of dark than I've seen from Loona. It felt like. Yeah. I don't know. I really have no idea.
The only thing that came to mind for me was like, so what? Like, with the black outfits, maybe. But I'm thinking she's just going to do something very different.
Watch her do Star or something.
Oh.
I would actually love to see that. No, but I don't know. I feel like she might challenge herself as well.
She did say that she wanted to show something different.
Yeah, she did say that. So I don't know, but I feel like no matter what she picks, it's still gonna be something different, like to what she usually does.
Hula hoop. You can see hyolyn doing colors or voice. I just don't know if colors matches the aesthetic of the styling that she had.
Like all black.
Listen, I wouldn't even like try and like, because an outfit, because we don't know the remix. She could do a remix of it that is completely like different.
Like she could do Hi.
She could do Hi and make it freaking super dark, and it's like like we don't know. That's what's hard. It's like with past experience with all the other Queendoms, it could literally go any which way. You could pick a super cute song and make it super Girl Crush. The polar opposites.
The thing about Butterfly is, like, Butterfly is a group choreography. That's why it shines, is because all of the girls together in the group choreography is so good. Obviously, she could take something like Butterfly and make a cool performance, but I still feel like it would take away from the what Butterfly is. So I don't know if it's Butterfly.
I doubt it's gonna be Butterfly. Watch her bring the whole of Sistar though to
Oh
do
my
something. Imagine she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna perform this alone. I'm bringing in my teammates.
Oh I think this is one of the more difficult ones to try and think
Yeah.
of what Hyolyn's gonna do. It's hard to say. It really
There's
is.
so many factors for that. Like
Yeah.
the fact that she wants to do something different, the fact that she has solos to pick from, like 12-member songs to pick from, 3-member songs to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much on the table for her to be like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And she could even do like a mashup of 2 songs. That's also a thing. Like she could very well go from a solo into a group songs or other
She
way
could
around.
do a mashup if she wants. It literally
Yes.
the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's gonna be crazy though. A mashup, imagine.
I agree with what Hyolyn's saying too. Like it is the point to kind of take a song and put your spin on it. I agree.
Yeah.
But I still think that Butterfly is not that song. She could take a lot of songs and change it to her own, but Butterfly is just I don't know, it just doesn't seem Hyolyn Sweet Crazy Love. Oh my goodness.
Oh, another idea was also like Hyolyn Eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's also something that exists.
I think that's what most people thought.
Yeah.
Or when we thought of like soloist, the first thing was Eclipse. And then obviously Kiss later as a joke, but
But that would be so good. Honestly, Yojin would love that. Yojin would lose her mind.
she'd scream.
Cover it.
She would scream.
She'd cover it in all the ways that Hyolyn is doing it.
Yeah.
Because we know a little immature.
What songs do we want to see? We can talk about ideas and stuff, but maybe before we move on to the next groups, what's your pick on what you would like personally? Like RB said in chat.
Keep talking. I'll just have to quickly do something real quick.
Yeah. I'm hoping honestly that she might go for like a 2-song combination and then do like maybe I would kind of love for her actually to go for an All Circle song because it would kind of fit her vibe, but she could still throw her own on it and then go for something out of the ordinary, like maybe do something like Voice and spin it up and have people like, whoa, that is Voice or something like that. Something like that are songs that I would love to see.
Okay.
What would be a vocal performance for Loona? Because I mean, they've got a lot of like songs that are.
The thing is they have so many different vocal styles, right? So it's hard to say.
Because I feel like with Hyolyn, like I mean, we keep saying she's the OG ace, right? And I feel like she might probably do like a medley or something, but have like a one for like performance, one for the vocals, and something else. I honestly like. I don't know. It could go any which way. Seriously, like
hard to say. Choose high note and high obviously is a big one.
I would really love to see Hyolyn perform high.
Yeah.
High.
In that outfit.
Yeah.
Make it like super dark. Yeah.
We like the biggest question mark is the solo songs, is the subunit songs, right? Another one that could be really fun is Love Cherry Motion.
Oh, I totally did not think about that yet.
That could fit the aesthetic as well, like with the certain, part that happens in Love Cherry Motion.
Yeah.
a certain part of it. Like if she had some crazy outfit change like WJ said. It seems a little out of reach, but it'd be fun. Yeah.
Imagine if she just changed it back and the black is actually what she's wearing during the like breakdown. And then she has like a super like pretty dress. I don't know how she would do that, but like that would just be cool.
Love Cherry Motion is definitely super jarring. It could be super cool. It's just the thing that we always like talk about is the popularity of songs matter too. If that makes sense. Like
you're definitely gonna want to pick something that's popular.
Exactly. You're gonna want to pick a well-known song too. So it always comes down to that balance. Yeah. So yeah.
What are we thinking for the opposite? What are Loona going to do for Hyolyn?
Oh, I do not know too many hyolyn songs to be honest. I think the only ones that I know are obviously Tali, and the one that I checked out from my video was like CC. And then that's about it.
Don't talk about Loona doing CC, please. I think
dropping it low, you know.
Yeah. Queens of Summer Loona. We have a pretty good idea.
We saw the like a bit of the end. I know you said you stopped after.
Yeah.
So
I immediately stopped.
I was gonna say it because it might, but it might be a spoiler for you if
he doesn't know the song. Maybe it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you're not super familiar with Sistar songs, then we could probably give our prediction, Joe, and I don't think it would necessarily spoil as long as he didn't like search it up or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Touch My Body is now literally the only Sistar song I know.
Okay. So, from the concept and the little bit we saw, I think they're gonna do "Shake It" by Sistar.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I personally think is what they're gonna do. But again, like, it's just a bit of a performance, and the choreo I didn't recognize, so they probably did their own. And again, they could have done Alone for all I know, and made it a high. Yeah.
It seems like Shake It. I would agree.
I think it's most likely Shake It, but we'll just have to wait and find out.
It's gonna be fun. Loona's gonna kill it, whatever it is.
Yeah, facts.
We don't know the order of the performances, right? Like, that's how it ended, right? It like the hyolyn put the stickers on, and then that's
that's it. And like, see you next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh. But would she really make it her own? She mentioned that she wants to try different.
Kind of another point too is like
still make it her own while still changing it though. Like she could try something else, but like
for example, making it her own would be like maybe she changes the concept, but she adds more vocals to it, more hyolyn.
Yeah, exactly.
Impressive vocals. Because if you look at a lot of the Loona songs for what they are, you don't have a lot of that
belting,
just crazy belts and runs and all the like technical stuff with vocals. Not to say that they're not great vocalists, obviously. So that would be an example of making it her own. Would be adding her like vocal power and presence to it.
You got it. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Yeah. So yeah,
Eclipse is my personal choice of what I would like to see.
Okay.
But to agree with you.
All right, so let's move on to Kepler and Brave Girls.
Okay.
That's an option.
Kepler and Brave Girls.
This is an interesting one. Because it feels very obvious on what Brave Girls pick for me.
What? No.
But
probably right.
And it depending on how they do it, it is very different. But I can't help but think it has to be Mask.
Yeah.
But I think they can do Girls Planet, so they could do OOO. They could do Shine. Oof! I felt that.
Yeah, that was my knee.
Oh no. Has that been confirmed? I mean, are we?
I believe. I wouldn't say it's. I saw the confirmation, but I think they are allowed.
Okay, I mean we can have the discussion both ways.
Because it is in their.
It's in their album.
Technically, it's in the album. Like.
Well, some, right?
Kepler. I mean Kepler. Kepler. OOO Kepler version. Shine Kepler version.
Like,
Dream.
Not like Snake, things like that.
No, Snake is not in. No.
So we're not gonna. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, when I meant Snake is something else.
Every single song they covered on GP9 is available.
Every single one. Let's do My C.
Let's do Helicopter, My C, whatever.
Helicopter, everything.
But they could. I mean, that's just because of Eugene. But people were saying, imagine they could cover like CLC.
Yeah. I still think Mask is a good potential because we keep talking about that defining moment for Brave Girls. if they took a song like Mask, which is very different, and executed it well, that would be that moment. That could be that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Because Mask is different, and man, Mask is going to be a highly anticipated song for the show for me. The performance for Mask is incredible.
See, I agree with you. I do think they might go for Mask, but there's a part of me that thinks they might do OO.
The same. I'm literally the same, actually. Like I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Mask, but could you imagine a Queendom version of OO?
That's what I think. Like, to me, when you look at Brave Girls as a group, like, I think, I don't know, I feel like I'm contradicting myself, like saying that I want to see Brave Girls try something else. But what I'm trying to say is I don't want them to stick with like Rollin'. Like, they can still be their own, because we know, like, with what we just saw, that they can, hype up the crowd and whatnot. And I don't know, I feel like all would be such a good stage for them. It would be like so big and grand, like they could make it huge with that.
But I think it would need to be altered just a little bit.
Yes.
Oh, it
main
will be.
chorus, like, it's way too chanty, I think.
No,
I don't want to cry either.
Of course.
The song makes me
So
sad.
They've got one of the best producers behind their back, so
yeah,
they'll figure something out, obviously. But yeah, part of me thinks that it's gonna be but Mask is definitely a high possibility.
It's interesting, for sure. I mean, are there any other potentials you see? I mean, I don't know if I see something like a Shine. I think that's too
Shine, or yeah.
like kind of
Shine is too cutesy energetic, I think.
Come on,
for
baby,
Brave
what
Girls.
up, baby? Take it
Yeah.
to the
like,
top.
Yeah, I don't know
I
about
don't
that,
see
but
them do that, but
And Another Dream is like way too melancholic.
yeah,
they could.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it is possible.
if you go
They
into the
are a
melancholy
vocal
side of
group.
things, I think you have to have a history or something to further draw out the emotions, in my opinion. Um, like the gfriend pass thing, right? Using that. But if Brave Girls doing a new group's ballad song, I feel like it lacks um,
I understand.
the connection there. They could pull it off vocally and stuff for sure. But
Mhm.
I feel like if you're gonna pull the emotional card, there has to be a past. There has to be something tied with it.
I mean,
But I don't know.
that could kind of like string it around of them like coming back out of the sudden, that whole storyline, and kind of spin it in a way of like, we have another dream to fulfill. Like, we thought our dream is over, but we have another dream to fulfill. Like, we want to prove ourselves. You could like throw it that way.
No, that's a good point.
That's a
fair
really
point.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah, build a whole storyline there off the song.
Mm.
That would be impressive to me too. Would I would it get lost on some viewers? I don't know. Depending on how Mnet edits it and how much they promote it, I guess, or explain it. But no, that's a really good point. Part of me just thinks that, like, touching back on Mask, I can see it going both ways kind of drastically. I think due to styles, I think that they could either take Mask and not do fantastic because of the style difference, or like just like I just picture it in my head, like Brave Girls coming out like no BS, and then just like absolutely crush a song like Mask. For some reason, that's just so stuck in my head, the idea of that. But 002, it's kind of on the whole, it's on the opposite spectrum of that, I think. And I think that could also be really, really cool, and something that they're probably more comfortable with as well.
I think so, yeah.
And it would have that surprise element.
Yeah.
But are they here to take risks? Are they here to play it safe? I mean, like we say, they're third wheeling, so playing it safe would kind of continue that straight path where taking risks is going to
might get them
Mhm.
or make them lower.
So it's an interesting point. I think OO would be that safe pick. I think Mask would be that high risk, high reward pick.
But in a way, like, like you said, Mask would probably also be like the better or the most anticipated one. So like if they do come out with Mask and do it, then everybody's gonna be like, yo, because I mean, Mask is like really popular. I think what?
Look at chat.
Oh my god!
Casey and I just had the same reaction.
Oh my god! Imagine that! Oh my god! They would have my vote
They
if they
come
came
out
out
and
like
they actually have hook.
yeah, Min Young just like promoting popcorn and zero coke. Like, oh my god!
That's immediately.
That's a good one.
I was wondering why you guys were laughing. No, it's just because I'm like getting like 5 different.
I hate
texts
that
at
I
the
laughed
same
at
time,
Healy's
so.
joke. I hate that so much.
Yeah. And the other way around?
Yeah, what were you saying? Sorry, it's you think it is the most anticipated, Joe?
The most popular one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it would be the most popular one, definitely. Yeah. So the obvious pick would probably be Mask, but like you said, it would be the more difficult one.
Do you think that hurts Kepler?
What do you mean? Like,
well, okay, I guess I'm not 100% on how it works. If Brave Girls do Mask, technically, Kepler could still do it later on. It doesn't like take it away from them. Is that how that works?
Oh, I see. Technically, they can still use it again.
But it wouldn't be advantageous, right?
It would not be advantageous at all.
So could that? Because again, in my opinion, Mask is a really strong performance
for
song.
Kepler.
Yes. So would that hurt him? I mean, would that be taking away?
It could, you know. That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
I think that's Kepler's best performance song. It's definitely not Water Out to me. So taking that weapon from Kepler, I wonder if that would also be strategic as well. I don't know.
Could be. I was gonna say it could be a strategic point for Brave Girls to do that.
But then again, will there be a round where you perform your own song? That's like a question.
I mean, like, there is. If we follow, there's going to be a round. Actually, they didn't have it in the last, like in Kingdom, but they had it in Queendom 1, and it was like a fan pick. So it was the fans that would pick the song that they want to see them perform.
That'd be so fun.
But when it comes to Kepler, then they don't have much. Yeah. You know.
True.
So. Right, hold on. I need to answer some texts again.
So this one's kind of hard too, because if we end each group with what we want to see, Kepler doesn't have a lot of options, so it would still just kind of be the same for me. It would be Mask, and I don't know if it would just be O for you. But if we do the reverse, I have no idea. I don't know Brave Girls' discography well enough to really have an opinion. What was that?
High Heels.
High Heels?
I mean, the obvious thing would be Rollin', right? But it's already been done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like We Ride. The thing is that Brave Girls don't have a lot. I mean, they've got a lot, but the history of Brave Girls is interesting because the Brave Girls, as we know, is not the original.
Right, that's
Brave
another
Girls.
factor too, I guess.
They started off with completely different members, but I do believe Rollin' was the first. No, sorry, it was High Heels. High Heels was the first song as the current Brave Girls. Then it was Rollin', and then they had Rewrite. And it kind of stopped after that. If we just stick to like the title tracks, so not much to choose from either.
Yeah. All I know is I want to see something different from them. That's the main thing that I want from Kepler. Show us something different, you know.
Yeah.
We know you're energetic and super powerful, but like if you want to do well on these shows, it's the same thing. Like all these shows, like not just Kingdom and Queendom, the main thing that I remember about these kind of shows and what sticks out is when you change something up. Best example, Youngin in Girls Planet, when she suddenly started to sing. whilst everyone thought she's just a dancer. Like, these are moments that you keep in mind. Like, they stick with you and they surprise you and impress you. So
look what happened with Youngin's ranking when we started to see her change in ability too.
Mm-hmm.
If Kep1er continued to do the same like girl crush type thing, it's not going to work out. It just won't. It just doesn't work. It's cool and it's flashy and I do like it, but
it's the trend. So
it's the trend, yeah, for sure. But it's the trend, but also people are starting to kind of
move away from it. Yeah.
A little like, okay, enough is enough. It's starting to head in that direction too, I think.
It is.
But I don't know their songs well enough, like I mentioned, but I can say that, yeah, I just want to see them do something different. Just give us something different. Give us, it doesn't even have to be like, you know, do the opposite concept. Do like some bubblegum K-pop, but, you know, give us more of a story. Give us, you know, use the stage a little more. Maybe have a bigger set. Just show us a different side of Kep1er. And I think that if Kep1er shows us some more sides of them and introduces some of these missing elements, they are a nightmare on the show, an absolute nightmare on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But until they add those missing elements, I just, you know, they're just not gonna have it.
I agree.
And they do have members to like pull everything off. Like, they have great versatility in
100%.
terms of like charms that they can present. Like, they can be girl crush, they can be really cute, they can sing, they can dance.
Exactly.
It's all there. They're just gonna use it.
Yeah. And Joe and I even talked about in the last episode too, is we all saw Girls Planet. So we got to see these sides, these different sides from the members themselves. But
we know
other viewers, all they know, if they're new to Kep1er just from Queendom, is just what we've seen so far, which we're still, you know, it was just round 1.
Yeah, there's still like, we're on episode 2 and there's
you know,
at least 10 episodes. So there's still a lot left.
Yeah.
Where to go.
Yeah. All right. So now we're left with viviz and wjsn.
I think this is probably the most interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Like, I don't know. Their concepts are pretty similar, I feel like. In terms of like sound and stuff, it's that very dreamy sound. So
I'm never gonna stop pushing my boogie up agenda.
Boogie up, let's go. Boogie.
That's actually one of the songs that I know because I got that requested for Patreon, and I'm in love with that. That's such a bop.
Yeah, I'm
gonna have to subscribe to your Patreon and push more WJSN.
Perfect, looking forward. But no, yeah, that's definitely because also like if Cosmic Girls, they have so much, as you guys pointed out, and BBG/gfriend also have so much. So there's so many combinations that are just possible with these two groups that I feel like it's almost impossible to predict it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's to me, these two groups are the hardest for me to really try and have a solid, like, oh, they're gonna do this or are they gonna do that. I'm hoping, like, I don't know why, but there's a part of me that I want to see, I want to see wjsn do Fingertip. By gfriend. I don't know. Cool, I don't know. It just like the first thing that popped in my head is like Fingertip, please, like because it is such an underrated gfriend song.
Yeah, and I would actually say one thing that would suit the whole, like, as I said earlier, they have that red line and that continuity going on. I would love to see something like Labyrinth on Cosmic Girl. That could very much move in a similar direction.
But going with a B-side, though.
But it was a very, very popular B-side, though, I feel like.
True, but...
And that's the tough thing.
You think you could kind of continue that story with something like an Apple?
With Apple?
That's also out there.
With the styling of Apple. And you saw some of the stages for Apple. They did kind of have like a darker aesthetic at times.
True. That whole change towards the end.
Like that whole fantasy. Because that's WJSN
feels
to me. It's very
fitting.
fantasy like, you know. It's
Mm.
so, and Apple would make sense, yeah. My least favorite gfriend song though, but but I would love to see it though. It
would
makes
fit the concept.
sense. Yeah, it fits the concept a lot. And like Yumo said, if they're gonna want to keep that like storyline, then for sure Apple would be the best bet.
I put down Apple and Sunrise for my 2. That's another thing I was wondering too. Are we gonna get Bop Bop throughout the show?
I hope we do, because I want something viviz.
Exactly.
I want something vivid. I love gfriend, but like they're like technically they're no longer gfriend. They're viviz now.
I think
I want to see viviz. I don't want to see gfriend anymore. Like, that sounds okay. As a buddy, that hurts me.
That's.
But like,
if you just okay.
But you understand my point here.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
unless you bring in all the other members, then keep going. Fine, do gfriend. But you're only the 3 of you, so do something like viviz. Like, I don't know, tweet. Oh my god, I would love to see tweet. Oh. But yeah,
Love You Like would send me into a different dimension and probably leave me absolutely in tears.
Fiesta. Okay, there's so many that they could do. They've got so many bops.
Literal
bops.
Wow.
But yeah,
that's another funny thought too. Is Chocomi? Like, I'm doing a Chocomi song for sure.
I would love to see that. It's either like, bro, they could do Chocomi or they could do the Black. You've got what about both?
What about both?
Easy, super yuppers. Humchik punya even.
I mean, they got the member count for it.
They do. They do.
The Black.
Oh, that would be so killer.
Sweating.
Though. That would be so killer. But the thing is, I feel like they would do that. I feel like they would do that, you know. But again, that's not the whole group. There's a part of me that you just want to do like the group or that artist specific thing rather than a subunit or a solo, you know.
Yeah.
True. But it's out there. The possibility is out there.
Yeah. For sure.
Could do it. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
It's tough, yeah. It's a tough thing to see, but it's, again, this is just predictions. It's just theories. Like, it's nothing's like.
And it's also just like fun to theorize about it.
Something that I found kind of interesting too is wjsn, if they cover a gfriend song, what we saw from VVG in the first performance was a lot of Buddy's Emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Does that carry over to wjsn if they're performing a gfriend song? Does it help? Does it hurt?
Ooh.
Does it have
that's a good question.
The same effects? And I was thinking maybe like, you know, we saw the relationship between Unso and Shinbi, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it could benefit. Just thought it was interesting, right?
It's definitely something.
Does it have that same emotion, that same nostalgia, with a different group doing it?
The thing is, it's going to depend on how they change the song.
True.
Because they could do it, but if they want to make it, you know, emotion, then probably, yeah, like, they would have to have a story, though. Like, just them performing it won't be. But, like, if there's a story with it, then, yeah, it could play with, with emotions. But I don't know. They might not want to do that either. Like,
they did say that they wanted to do a gfriend song and do it justice.
Yeah.
That is what they said.
That is, exactly what they said.
So, yeah, I don't know how to take that as, you know, do it justice by not changing too much and just performing it really well, or because I don't know.
Because they could pull it off. They could pull that off. That's the thing.
They
could just keep it as is and actually pull it off.
Yeah.
Change a few choreo.
I think that it's probably a lower chance, but there is a potential of like it being a negative too. It's not out of the question of it being a negative as well.
Yeah.
If they take a gfriend song and try and play on Buddy's emotion, but like let's say they change it too much, like you said, there could be some negativity that comes from that as well. So I think they have to be kind of careful.
I mean, they already saw like with gfriend performing their own songs like themselves, it didn't work out that well for them either. So like wjsn might see that and be like, okay, yeah, we can't just do that, right? Because it didn't.
AOA covered egotistic. They got praise from Mamamoo. Yeah,
They did. I mean, all of the groups had praise, but
the negativity stems from when people go, "Yes, better than the original."
mm,
Yes, and yeah,
Agreed.
I agree. I agree.
mm.
But I don't think that's the only potential negative outcome. I think again, if they changed it too much, for example, and it was worse or something, or they didn't quite do it justice, maybe that could upset people. But I think that it should be more positive than negative. I think.
Yeah. But like you said, like people will also have like there's always going to be that comparison though. Like,
Yep,
is it better or
sure.
is it less? Than
Hopefully that
the
doesn't
original.
cause like fandom wars and any sort of negativity. It will to some
It
extent, sadly.
will.
Unfortunately,
You'll always have that.
Bro, Stan Twitter is Stan Twitter, so it's always gonna happen.
But we're gonna probably have that with every group doing each other's performance.
Oh yeah.
But
it's inevitable.
yeah, sadly. Yeah.
I. Mm,
but
I don't know.
Also no.
Yeah.
If anything, it makes fandoms a little bit more passionate about things, more sensitive, potentially.
It brings back the fandom in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're broken, but then seeing a different group cover it's like, hey, we respect. And
yeah, it's like paying tribute, kind of.
Yeah, it's like a tribute. Yeah.
They said they want to take a gfriend song and do it justice. Their motive is positive,
tribute,
and
yeah.
so maybe it'll reflect that. The only unknown factor there would be Mnet edits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They would want the controversial kind of approach, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys have anything else to add or any other questions you want to ask regarding, or Yumo, if you have anything you want to ask about episode 1, 2?
We do our ranks.
It's what our ranks are?
Oh,
you guys want to do that or no?
Yeah, I would want to do it because I still have to think about it. As I said earlier, mine would change by the point of view. But
here's the thing, like the final,
not group ranks, but round 1 performance ranks.
Oh, round 1. Well, it's basically what the final ended up looking like. So hyolyn first, wjsn, gfriend.
Give me that light.
Oh yeah.
Give me that hoodie.
What? I'm keeping all of this. Stop.
I definitely don't think that they were 6th.
No, I don't think they were 6th either.
Yeah.
When you think about it, no.
They would have taken into account.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually have to think about this.
Okay.
Because I definitely agree. hyolyn, wjsn.
Yeah.
I would put Brave Girls a little bit higher though. Because I really like their performance.
I want to so bad. It's just so stuck in my head.
I think like from a bias standpoint, I would easily put, I think I said it earlier, right? Where I said like Loona is on top. Like that's not easy. But like from unbiased, I would put like hyolyn first and then Loona second. Then like Cosmic Girls third. BBG fourth. Brave Girls and then probably Kepler.
We didn't touch too much on what wjsn song they're going to cover, actually. We only did one side of it. We talked about what gfriend's song
Yeah,
wjsn would cover, but we didn't go into what song
true.
viviz would cover of wjsn.
I mean, I
guess I said
you said Boogie Up.
Boogie Up. But
Boogie
also,
Up.
I wrote 2 songs down.
Uh-huh.
What do you think my other song is? Take a guess.
Momomo.
Happy.
Oh.
And again,
Oh.
these are more songs that I would want to see. Do I think it's the best choice for them in the show? Probably not.
Yeah, those are very high, like, Q energy songs.
Cheerleader MG, what you're saying?
Bro, bro, like, the thing with VVZ, though, like, you saw their transformation. I mean, look at MG, look at, like, dude, they could go, like, all out dark. And go, like, with the darker, like, unnatural, for example, or something.
Unnatural, I think, is probably the most.
I would want to see that.
Anticipated, I think, for good reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think unnatural is definitely extremely possible.
I mean, for me as well, because like I have these 3 songs that I know. It's like Save Me, Save You, Boogie Up, and Unnatural. So obviously,
yeah,
I think it would be somewhere between like Unnatural and, I mean, Save Me, Save You could also be something to do.
Yeah, Dreams Come True would be cool. Yeah,
I would love to see them do Let's Dance. The B-side, Let's Dance. I doubt they would pick. The thing is, I doubt they would pick B-sides. When you've got so many title tracks, you would probably go for a
There's one potential wjsn B-side that I could see with a potential shock factor and popularity, and that's like Pantomime or whatever.
Oh, Pantomime. Oh, yeah.
Like, think about the performance that you could create with that song. Is kind of crazy.
That actually fits VVZ really well, actually. They could honestly do that. You're absolutely right.
And what a stage that could be.
Oh yeah.
True.
Oh yeah.
You'll have to check that song out.
You'll have to check it out.
After this Yumo. It's a wild song.
100%.
It's wild.
Yeah, I actually agree now. Yeah. That would actually be sick. They might even go with that.
Because sometimes you have those B-sides that are just so iconic, especially within their fandom. I mean, that B-side is quite loved.
Yeah.
That was all I heard during my wjsn journey is
Pantomime is the B-side of WJSN. I mean, that whole album is...
Yeah. I did like a 4-hour album listen going through all the albums, and everyone in chat for 4 hours was just like, I can't wait for this moment. And then when it came, I had to let them know, like, okay, I've actually heard it. Sorry.
Wow.
Oh boy.
It was rough.
Wow.
Bambi spoiled me. Yeah, that could be really, really cool.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. I can't see anything else, though.
I don't know if you want to talk about this. We touched on it a tiny bit. It's something that's on my mind.
Go ahead.
I don't think this is going to happen, especially with, and I think Mnet do not want this to happen either, based off the fact that Loona was the only group that they showed a preview of, and they had the snippets of like, oh my God, Loona's so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth mentioning, they got 6th place. They got 6th place for a performance that was not 6th place to me.
Yeah.
If for some reason they get 6th place again and they're off the show, I mean, are they going to let that happen?
That's a good question, and that's something I've been thinking about too. I don't know, because I feel like it's like very unfair.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's something that you can't control. I mean, it's COVID, right? Like you have to follow the like process.
Yeah, there's no way that Mnet didn't think of all, of these potentials too, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Then
exactly.
again, it's Mnet, I don't know.
I don't know, but 100%, I don't think, like, if it ever happens, which I highly doubt. I mean, we're talking about Loona here. But if for whatever reason they do get sixth place, I highly doubt Mnet would allow them to like just leave, like, because the backlash they're going to get is gonna be incredible. Like,
but on the other side of the coin, I mean, there is potential backlash from making an exception as well, right?
That's there as well, because
Other
like
fans could get upset, like, yo, what is this? Like, you're making an exception for this group, especially if their group later on gets eliminated. Could you imagine?
yeah,
Probably won't happen,
it
but
won't happen.
could you imagine if they made an exception for Luna and then later on, a group got eliminated? It would be a nightmare. But the
I
chances are
understand,
so.
but the chances of that happening is very slim. I mean, to be fair, when you look at Queendom 1 and you look at the groups, it's kind of crazy how nobody got eliminated, because you've got these groups that just
Okay. It is really unlikely, but, and I mean this with all respect, it's not like incredibly out of question for Brave Girls if they don't,
yeah,
because like we talked about, they're kind of just flying under the radar.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not 100% out of the question, but I do think you're right. I think it's very unlikely, but I don't know.
If it ever comes to that point, I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna actually ask the contestants, is it okay to just,
Like they did with Luna's performance, like, hey, can we show this?
like, can we show it? And if everybody agrees, if that's the case, obviously everybody's gonna agree. I mean, everybody's friends at this point, like it's a competition show, but like, if they do say no, then my God, the backlash on the group is gonna be insane. But I do think that if ever it does gonna happen, it's gonna come to like a vote, and it's not just gonna be Mnet that's gonna take it, like take the decision. It's gonna be a vote, and
I don't think Mnet wants that to happen. I think
they
that,
don't
I
want.
think, I think there's a reason why they only showed a preview of Luna and they included that snippet of Luna praise. I think that was calculated for sure for that reason.
Pretty much.
I also don't think that they want Brave Girls to have that issue as well. I think that's also why we're seeing certain things unfold, right?
And why they have the storyline that they have, like the dark horse kind of storyline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that a group going off of the show isn't good for Mnet. No matter the group.
No. I mean,
and if they would have wanted that, they could have easily just said, okay, if you get 6, you're eliminated. Like, they could do it like Road to Kingdom.
The thing is, right, is like, I remember Road to Kingdom, watching it, and spoilers, everybody, all right? So if you don't want any spoilers for Road to Kingdom, click off for a little bit and come back. Are you guys okay with me saying this, or?
I have watched it also.
Okay. Yeah, so one group did get eliminated, and the backlash behind it was excessive. It was excessive, right? Mainly due because one of the groups that beat them was a group that didn't even debut yet. They were on the show and they didn't debut yet, so anyways. But Mnet got a lot of backlash, and when Kingdom came, they didn't have that rule anymore. So I was like, oh, that's great, they took it off. And that's why I was expecting this season to not have it either. But then they brought it back, and I was like,
why do we have it?
Why?
It just adds this like little bit of extra drama. I feel like just the possibility now with the whole thing of Loona now. Oh my God, we placed 6. We are on the cusp of elimination. If we get 6 again, it's just creating drama.
Yeah, of course, it's for the drama.
They don't want it to happen, but they want it there, like you said, to create that potential drama.
Yeah,
and suspense and worry.
With like the double 6th place, Mnet is still kind of like in control about this. They can do things to avoid
that. I mean, we know like the power of editing can change.
Power of editing,
We all
clearly.
know that
I look at
Yes.
they've got people behind their desk right now, like psychologists and whatnot, that know, like, if you do this, people are gonna vote, and it's gonna change the ratings and stuff.
exactly. I think evidence of that would be how they acknowledged Kepler in this last episode, right? They had Kepler sit down and show, and they showed
had to
Kepler
say.
reading these articles of, Kepler's only here because it's Mnet's group.
Yeah.
They're calculated, they're intelligent. There's no question that, like them or hate them, right?
Yeah.
They
So
are intelligent.
You know what they're
everything
doing.
everything is I'm assuming well thought out, all the potentials.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you guys have any thoughts on that, by the way, that moment with Kepler?
You mean the whole
like the whole situation? Because I honestly, like, when I saw that, I was like, well, it's kind of good that they do show that, you know, because obviously, like, I knew straight off the bat, as soon as I heard Kepler are gonna be there, I was like, Kepler's gonna get so much hate. And we talked about this, Casey, on who, I don't know if we want to talk about this or not, but like in the end, like who we thought would be the end winner and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And like we all thought that Kepler could be the winner here. Let's say
that's like
and
the thing.
Yeah, and like if they win, the question was if they win, what happens?
I think it's bad.
The group is gonna get so much backlash because they're an Mnet group.
It's
right?
like a lose-lose situation for Kepler, but a win-win for Mnet. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because if they win, it's like, okay, they just won because they're an Mnet group, and if they lose, people are gonna say, why didn't they win? They're an Mnet group.
Yeah.
It's
you're right. Exactly.
Why did you put him on the show? Or
yeah.
You know, it's kind of sad because Kepler overall being on the show is kind of a lose-lose for them, but also they keep being put in these lose-lose situations. Like Kepler is a brand new group, and they were forced to say which one of their seniors is worse than them.
Yeah.
Like
this whole voting thing is also another topic.
That was a terrible scenario for Kepler. There was no way that Kepler came out of that in a positive way. They tried.
They were the only best who put somebody
above them.
They were the only ones. Because they were like, okay, we are the youngest. We kind of need to save this.
They had to. They absolutely had to. Could you imagine if Kepler didn't put anyone above them and then just said that someone was worse than them? Yeah. I mean, it was already an unfortunate situation for them to be in, but that would have just made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this whole method of voting that they have now with the one up, but you need to put one lower it creates so much more drama than what they had before, where like 3 members of a group just go into a booth and write down the ranking that the group agreed upon. They noticed, okay, how can we make this even more dramatic? Like, where is drama to be picked out from?
But they did do that in Queendom 1 though. The whole pick
did they?
above
and I don't know that.
It is not a new thing. I don't think they had that in Kingdom though.
No, they didn't. They just sent them out and we're like, okay, that's the results.
Here you go. Yeah. And it didn't show who was above or below. It
was just, here's the rankings. That's what our group decided on.
Yeah. So, no, definitely they want to create, like, the drama. But, no, I agree. Like, right now, it's not looking good for Kepler. But to go back to that, I do feel bad. And you can tell that they're trying, like with that moment that you wanted us to, like, touch upon it, like the moment where they're reading all about it, and like you said, they're trying to show, like, look, we're here as a group, not just as an Mnet group, but just as like as Kepler. Like, we want to show our potential, we want to show what we can do without the
Mnet backing.
The Mnet backing, but
But it's also, like, I think good that they kind of tackle this, because could you imagine if they, like, danced around this whole, like, daughter of Mnet thing and they never even, like, touched upon it? Yeah, it would also be just kind of awkward.
Yeah,
I think it was smart of them to acknowledge it in the show.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It's just a sad situation for Kepler.
See, the thing is, right? Like, we're saying that, you know, so far it's like Kepler are gonna have it hard in this show and whatnot, and of course, like, either way, they're probably gonna get some hate, right? I mean, it's not new. They're Kepler. We watch GP999. We know.
Survival show groups, I think, will always carry that, unfortunately.
We all know, yeah. But as they say, there's no, like, there's always like good publicity and bad publicity or something. I can't remember the exact words, but like, they're gonna gain a lot more fans just through this show, whether it's, you know, they win or not, or
yeah,
they'll get some hate. That hate is gonna go away after a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Like everything else, it's like, oh, but and then everybody just forgets about it, and
the classic bad publicity is also good publicity.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, in a way, like when like Kepler might not gain much, but it's still like,
yeah,
you know,
it's what it is.
I think them winning could definitely be a lot of hate, though.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be the worst hate.
I think we kind of talked about, and this is so sad, but the best outcome for them would
be to not win.
To not win, which is sad.
Yeah,
but it's kind of true.
It shouldn't be. Yeah.
And it sucks for the girls, but I mean, Mnet put them in that situation. I mean,
Mnet knew what they were gonna do, like, because, see, the way I saw it was Mnet is trying to push Kepler into that international viewership, and Queendom is the best place as a publicity for a group. Queendom is the best place. So they obviously wanted that, and when I saw it, I was like, it's great for them because Kepler's gonna gain that popularity, but at the same time, it's kind of, they're being used in a way.
So.
Come close second, yeah. I mean, to be honest, like, we keep saying this, like, to me, whoever comes first, like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm watching this show because we're getting some rare interactions. There you go. Some rare interactions, which I feel like is really rare these days. And yeah, just like amazing performances, and, you know, just enjoying some good performances, like, and at the end everybody's gonna come out with a little bit more of a following, so it's a win-win.
Yeah,
from a lose-lose to a win-win.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah,
I agree, but like I said, man,
it's rough for Kepler.
I will continue to be transparent. I want Loona to win. I mean, I'm not gonna hide behind it. I want Loona to win.
Personally, okay, out of all of the groups that are there, the only group that is an alt for me, like alt status, is Kepler. But I want wjsn to win.
That's fair too.
Personally, I really want, like, my love for wjsn is growing really high and has been for years. But, like, I just know, like, watching them in this show already after 2 episodes, like, I just want them to win. But
I think they have a good chance. I really do.
I seriously think that they will. If they keep up, they will. They'll have a high.
Something interesting, as well, is I think you brought this up. I was watching your live reaction to it, Joe. Is hyolyn's success going to be a problem moving forward? Is the bar set too high? Is there now a level of expectations on her shoulders that might be hard to maintain? Meanwhile, all these other groups, you know, grow. Yeah, or is she just going to continue to be hyolyn and just absolutely dominate?
Hold up. Let's my computer just went weird. And I have to just reset. You're going to have to restart whatever you said. Hold on, bear with me. Technical difficulties.
Oh, you're good.
There we go. I think we're back, right? We back?
Okay. I mean, just It's just
I'm
a test
so
or
sorry.
it's in the.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. First grade. Perfect.
I think we're
Okay.
back.
All right. Whew, sorry about that. What were you saying?
When I was watching you live react to the stages, Joe, you brought up a
Yeah.
point of Hyolyn and her success and this narrative on the show of her dominance.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be a negative moving forward? Is the bar set high? Does she have these expectations now that are going to be hard to fulfill? Or is she just going to continue to be Hyolyn and just absolutely dominate?
I mean, again, it's like a double-edged sword because, like, it's Hyolyn. Like, she's good and she will continue to hit hard, and be good. But you'll always have that high expectation, and in the end, it just depends on like the minds of the viewers, right? Hyolyn will keep doing Hyolyn things, right? Like that won't stop her. It's just gonna depend on the viewers, like whether they have, if they put a high expectation on her, then obviously the next performance that she's gonna do, they might be like, it didn't exceed the expectation I was hoping, and then it'll go down. But Hyolyn for sure will just,
she'll continue to do well.
She'll do what she wants and do it, but it will definitely affect 100%. Like I'm pretty sure, and you see that often, not just with like Hyolyn, but just in the industry. Like you have a comeback that's a massive bop, right? People will always compare it to that. Your next comeback you're gonna do after that, they'll compare it on it. And then if it's not as good, even though it's still a bop in itself, but they'll always compare it and be like, yeah, it's not as hype as that one. Sorry, I don't like it. You know.
Yeah.
But
it's always an issue.
I think you're right. I think it's in the eyes. It's in the control of viewers.
Yeah.
But also it's also in control of the other groups to lessen that gap, because I do think that there's a gap between Hyolyn and the rest of the show right now. I think wjsn is pretty close there, but I think Hyolyn is definitely a bit ahead of everyone else right now.
I agree, 100%.
So yeah, I guess we'll see.
Anything else we want to add before we end it here?
What do you do for viewing it, Yumo? I mean, like a little plug. Do you stream it? Patreon? Where can people watching this?
It's basically all on Patreon. Due to me not be like due to the time zones, I'm not able to actually watch it live.
Same here.
I did for the first one because I had holidays. So, but yeah, it's like 2 p.m. for me when it airs, and I gotta work, so I just record it and then it's all up on Patreon.
Okay, so I'll link his Patreon. I'll link all like the channels, Discords, Twitch, everything is gonna be down below. So definitely go and check those out. Casey, you stream it?
Yeah, we kind of combine our streams. Not combine, but I stream,
true.
and then as soon as I'm done, you start. So, yeah, I usually start at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and then as soon as I'm done, I just host Joe and watch Joe in bed.
Yeah, because it is pretty late for me though. I usually watch it at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just because that's when I come back from work. But yeah, and if you guys can't, join live, then don't worry, like the VODs are always uploaded on Patreon, and I think you do the same, Casey, or you just stream.
Actually, I'll get them up there. I still gotta get produce episodes and some Eyes on Chew and a little bit of a queue building up, but we'll try and
get there. Yeah,
soon.
So yeah, basically just go and check out our links. You don't want to miss them.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Yumo, for joining first time here. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. And I really wanted you to come and pop in because I know you've got some interesting views on things. So
glad we finally got to do something with you, and I'm sure there will be
next week if you want.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the viewership as well. I was scared of like the viewership for like the stream and stuff, but it was pretty decent. So you know, if you want, we can continue same thing next week. Might get a few more people in the discussion.
It'd be fun to get some more opinions and open up the discussion a bit.
I feel like if we do get somebody else like on next one, the next one will have 5 people and then 6. And then
keep growing.
Keep growing every episode, and then we end off with like just this massive group.
It's like big meeting.
Yeah.
Everyone has to raise their hand like in this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I want to say something.
Yeah.
No, it's a fun topic. It's fun to talk about for sure. And obviously, for people watching, you might have, you know, different opinions and such. We all have our own opinions, and that's okay if you don't agree with us, and we might not agree with you. But I think as long as everyone is just enjoying and respectful, I think it's such a cool experience to go through. And as always,
go ahead.
Comment.
Yeah, the comments. Let us know. Exactly. Like seriously, like if you've got anything you want to add, or you know, thoughts that you guys have as a viewer, let us know down in the comments. Again, though, like keep it civil. You know, if there's any toxicity, like straight up hate, that is gone. Don't even bother. All right. I spot something and it's an immediate remove. All right. So nobody's gonna see it. Don't even bother.
NCT Bongcast in the making. One new member each week, says Lavi. True.
That'd be amazing. But yeah, so guys, don't forget, leave your comments down below. But there we go. That was the episode 2 discussion. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, I won't stress enough. Go and check out Casey and Yumo. Links are down in the description. And obviously, you know, my Patreon and stuff is also going to be down there if it would be something that would interest you. But yeah, thank you once again for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Annyeong.
Bye.
Bye.